Hey BookTube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Books I'm Not Reading. In case you've never made it to the end of one of my videos, I just want to start off by encouraging all of you to be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Jason and I are in our second day of quarantine. On Sunday, Jason was exposed to someone who tested positive the next day. And so we went and we were told not to go until Thursday to get a rapid test. Both our rapid tests were negative, by the way. And now we're waiting to hear on, I think it's called the PCR test. So anyway, so I'm trying very hard. I've got a cup of tea here. This is Mama Bear's Cold Care, which is, considering how cute the box is, I can't really recommend it. It's got licorice root in it, and I just didn't realize it was going to be so, like, it tastes like black licorice. Yeah. First of all, there are a whole slew of new people. I am so excited that you are here. I'm so glad. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Most of the people that I can see. So you have to understand, I can't see everyone in my analytics who subscribes to my channel. So just some recent subscribers who don't have channels, I just want to say welcome, hi, thank you for subscribing. Laura Hines, Book Chase, which I think would be an excellent title for a BookTube channel. I'm curious if that's something you're thinking about doing. Chiana Nicole, Jamie Hammonds, Silver Trees, which I feel like Silver Trees has left comments before, but I was very happy to see that crop up, and Book Girl 13. So I just especially, I wish I could thank everyone who's recently subscribed, but those are the ones that I could see. I apologize if I'm missing anyone, but nonetheless. So books, let's talk about books. I did get through the end of January in my Shakespeare for every day of the year, and I cannot recommend this book highly enough. It's not like, some days it's a sonnet, most days it's a scene, or maybe a soliloquy or something along those lines. And she just usually has like an introductory paragraph. Sometimes it's related to the play, sometimes it's related to, January, and a reference to winter or January in one of Shakespeare's plays, those kinds of things. But it's great. It's really great. If you can find this on sale, because I think the retail price, the retail price is $30. For some reason, I thought it was $40, but anyway, so yeah, this is fantastic, and I'm loving just reading a little bit of the Bard every day. Okay, so I also finished Time Was Soft There, a Paris Sojourn at Shakespeare and Company by Jeremy Mercer, which one of you somehow managed to read my mind and sent to me, so I was so glad. And I read this as part of Taking Tea with Catherine's sort of reading about books about books in January, and I feel like I know I didn't fail, obviously, it's not a contest or a competition or anything, but there's a part of me that feels like I didn't really fulfill, the idea of reading books about books. This is definitely a book about a bookstore, but the books themselves don't play a huge part in the story. Jeremy Mercer published this in 2005, so I'm not sure how long it was before then that he went to Shakespeare and Company, and at the time, George Whitman was the owner of Shakespeare and Company. Now, there's kind of two Shakespeare and Companies, so the first one, the one that most people think is still the same Shakespeare and Company, was it wasn't in the same location as Shakespeare and Company is now, and it was owned by Sylvia Beach, and you know, she had all these well, now like super famous authors around her, Hemingway and that sort of thing. George Whitman started the bookstore in 1951 because Sylvia Beach had closed hers, and I guess he was able to persuade her to get the name. But in addition to being a bookstore, there were all these apartments and people just like sleeping in sleeping bags and on the floor. There are all these people, like at one point in the book he says 40,000 people at that time had spent at least one night, if not more, and Jeremy Mercer is there for quite a while. I slept in Shakespeare and Company, which is mind-boggling to me because I was in Paris, while George Whitman owned this bookstore and had all these people living there. So I had no idea, and I don't frankly remember the first time I went to Shakespeare and Company. I know, because I've been to Paris twice. So the second time I know I went because we have a book that I bought from Shakespeare and Company that I bought for Jason. But so and one of the funny things in the book was that talking about like tourists buying postcards from Shakespeare and Company. So I definitely was one of those people. Here's one, and you know, largest stock of antiquarian English books on the continent. Here's another one. I don't know how well you'll be able to see some of the words around the outside. And then this is actually a great photo inside the bookstore. It definitely, I do remember it looking like that. The bottom of the step there says "Live for Humanity," and George Whitman. I mean, the book is about Jeremy Mercer, but also a lot about George Whitman, and he really believed, like, he wanted to help people out. He wanted to feed and shelter people. He wanted to talk about his ideas with them. They shared meals together. All kinds of things happen while Jeremy Mercer is staying at Shakespeare and Company, and it was really a turning point in his life, I think. But again, I was kind of like, I want to read somebody talking about books. So anyway, Catherine, if you're watching, I hope that you will do this event again in the future, and I'm gonna read some books that are actually about books. So I did really enjoy Shakespeare and Company, though, or Time Was Soft there, and I also loved. It took me a while to figure out the title. But Jeremy Mercer had been a crime reporter in Canada before he went to Shakespeare and Company, and so there's this kind of idea about like prison time, and like some prison time is hard time, and he says his time at Shakespeare and Company is soft time. So Time Was Soft there. I think that's a great title too. So anyway, I do recommend this book. I just don't really, like I said, I don't feel like I kind of lived up to Catherine's challenge, so I will be correcting that before long. Okay, so for a few weeks now, I've been telling you guys that I was reading a book, that it was taking me a lot of time, and I wasn't ready to talk about it. I'm still not really ready to talk about it, so please save your comments on this book for a future review video, which I really don't know at this point when that will be, but in the last year, some people have brought some things to my attention about this book that I loved and made me think that, it's been 15 and a half years since I've read this book, so maybe it's time for a reread, and maybe it's time to read it with a more critical eye instead of just I don't know, like skipping over things. So I reread Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. It was part of my Pulitzer Prize reread project, but like I said, I've had some discussions about this book in the last year that really made me want to look at it again. And as you can see from my sticky notes, and yes, those sticky notes do stand for things, which I will talk about in my video, but yeah, so this was the book I was most anxious about reading in 2022, and so if nothing else, I'm glad it's over. Like, and I look forward to hopefully a peaceful discussion about Gone with the Wind. So I was able to finish both of those books, and then I'm kind of in that weird spot between January and February. I do have some things that I'm planning on reading in February, but I decided to start one of my BookTube spin books because I think it's the kind of book that A, will read fast, and B, I can set it down and come back to it and it'll be okay. So that's Lessons from Lucy by Dave Barry. The Simple Joys of an Old Happy Dog. So I have all these dog books, and again, I'm not quite sure why. Dave Barry is a comedic writer. He had columns in newspapers. I remember growing up that we would, as a family, we would read them, and he was always really, really funny. He lives in Florida, which is always seems to be ripe for something fascinating to happen. But anyway, at the time he wrote this book, he was 70, and of course Lucy was getting older, and he was like, but she still seems really happy. And so it is a lot about just getting older and like how to like what Lucy has to teach him about like having fun, like not taking things too seriously that you can't control. And anyway, so I've already read 50 pages in this, and I just started it yesterday, so I'm enjoying it. I'm not sure it's a book that I'm gonna hold on to, so I may give this one away. It's actually signed, and not to me either. It's just a generic signature in there. But anyway, so like I said, I'm enjoying. I'm glad to be getting to it, and I'm enjoying it. It's making me smile. It's helping me. It's distracting me a little bit, maybe, I guess I should say, and so that's good, and hopefully I can have it finished by the end of the month. So we'll see what happens with that. It is part of my, actually, all of these books are part of my 32 for 2022, which I know, it's super lame, you guys. I couldn't come up with just 22 books. I have 32 high priority books that I want to finish by the end of the year. And if you'd like to see that list, you can go down below and follow or friend me on Goodreads if you'd like to see all of the high priority books for the year. Now, certainly I hope to read more than just those 32 books. But like last year I did 21 for 2021, and I didn't get to all of those books, so those books have been added to this list, and I think that's part of what made it a little more complicated. I just couldn't keep it to 22, so it's a bit ridiculous. I realize, like, I could have just made it like 26 for 2022 or whatever, but I like the idea of kind of having like a high priority list of books that I want to get to this year. Especially things that have been on my TBR for a long time, that we've owned for a long time, things that I think like, like maybe like the Dave Barry book. I mean, I really think probably I'm only going to read that once. And And so I'd love to, pass it on to some of you. Anyway, BookTube, I'd love to hear about what you're reading this weekend, how you're doing. I hope that you are safe and well and healthy. And again, I just hope that I'm really trying to live by my mantra on this channel. And I have thought about so many of you, both those of you who leave a comment and those of you who I don't ever hear from. Like, you mean so much to me. I'm so grateful to be able to talk to you during these difficult times, and I really, really appreciate it. Again, I would love to hear from you in the comment section. If you don't feel comfortable, you can leave an emoji in the comment section. You can give this video a thumbs up, and then I kind of know, like, oh, you're here. Okay. So, BookTube, again, remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.